All right, welcome back. D-Love, how far are you there? Welcome. We have Blessing CEO. She's going to teach us something. You know, I know many of you will claim you don't listen to her, but listen, how many people actually hit like on this? I mean, just on one comment, 759 people hitting like. So clearly people are listening to her. And they're assimilating and internalizing all of it directly, indirectly, subconsciously or subconsciously, all of that. Okay, so area alpha natu. You know, I started the show and there was no audio, and I found out that there was no audio about 13 minutes in because I guess no one is able to chat with me. But we're here. Let's just talk about Blessing CEO. That's all that matters, that we're here, right? So she has something to say, something about in-laws. You know, either you like it or not, you are married to your in-laws. Don't deceive yourself. It's the reality, okay? So, you know, you want to look at, things to assess if you're deciding you want to be married to a person. One of the biggest variable is the in-laws, you know. Now, it's not necessarily the deciding variable, but you just need to, I would say, get to know them, okay? Because they're going to be in your life for a long time. Anyway, like I said earlier, hopefully, I don't know if you guys missed it. Happy October 1st, happy first Sunday, happy Independence if you're Nigerian. Don't give up on Nigeria, okay? Never give up on Nigeria. But let me play this video and let's get into it.
Mother-in-law no like you. Stop trying to impress her. Return the same energy. A lot of you are going to say no. Respect your husband's mother. Yes, so you will respect your husband's mother. But if she does not like you, you will return the same energy. Let me tell you something. When a mother-in-law does not like you, there's nothing you want to do in this life that will make her to like you. Nothing under the sun. If you like, cook, clean, buy her clothes, buy her shoes, she will collect it from you and still hate you on top of it. Let's get into the topic. Normally, I for advice you say, make you not even marry man when mama no like you. That's the first red flag.
Hey.
But because a lot of you women, when I get coconut head, none of the year word. If your mother-in-law no like you, stop trying to impress her.
Wait.
We don't say love. You don't rush, you don't carry belly. I love you. I cannot do without you. Now be the situation where we dey now. You love him.
Okay.
I cannot stop you from loving someone or from marrying somebody that you love. Since we don't tell you, say, once the mother-in-law don't show you they don't like you, wrong. Some of you don't go rush carry belly. Some of you don't enter because of love. So when you enter, and you don't say your mother-in-law no like you, not going to try to please her, nothing you could do to please your mother-in-law. If your mother-in-law won't even like you, not waiting you do now, waiting your husband, they tell her. If there's anybody that is going to change your mother-in-law's mind to start to, give you plastic smile because they can never like you, the highest thing they can be doing is be pretending to like you. So even if your mother-in-law won't come, they pretend to like you. Now your husband, now he take carry you, and now he take sell you to a mama.
Wow.
Now he will make her they give you that. That's the only thing she can give, but she doesn't like you. We don't say love. You don't rush, you don't carry belly. Especially in Africa here. I don't know what mother-in-laws and daughter-in-laws are always dragging. Some people come and say, oh, I got into this marriage and my mother-in-law like me. Lucky you. They know they like you. They pretend to like you. Because their pikin don't tell them one or two. Now how your husband they carry you. Now so your mother-in-law will they carry you. Because your mother-in-law don't know you. He know you through your husband. They see you through your husband's eyes. Because now waiting your husband can't tell them. Now they go think about you. You understand? So if your mother-in-law like you, now they say your husband don't tell them good thing in front of you. The day when your husband go tell them bad thing, they go change that for you. So it's not supposed to be a stress, because the biggest stress is when you're giving love and the person is not reciprocating it back. It can get you depressed. My mother-in-law does not like me. I've done everything. Don't do anything. Serve at the same energy. Keep your distance. If you see and especially in a greet and good morning, ma. For formality, you should not answer you. Just the greeter. You understand? Respect her or keep your distance. Serve the same energy. No go there, go to wash clothes. If you reach your mother-in-law house, cross leg. No house. If I go to my mama's house, my mama they cook for me. If mama come my house, I cook. My mom treats me like a queen when I go to her house. I want to enter kitchen with my mama do. She goes, say, don't worry, mama go serve me. So if I come your house as mother-in-law, now your work. If you want make her help you, you can come and say, Nkiru, you can come and help me in the kitchen, I will come. But if you don't call me, I no go come. Make you no come talk, say, na me make the soup, no sweets. Na me make sand, enter inside rice. I don't get power. I go just sit down, the press food. I cook now to press food. Or I go to shout, honey, baby, should we go to the market square? Baby, come on now and teach me how to catch rabbits. Baby, can I? That's what they do. I know say mother-in-laws. That kind of thing. They need to tell mother-in-law the way they do love in front of their picking in front of them. Hello. Greet and good morning, ma.
Oh, can you hear me now? Sorry about that. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. Right? That's the second time I will make that mistake. This time not that much longer. So if your mother-in-law, she made some good points, okay? But there's a big old but. All right? Like a big old but. Right, like 40 inches. Right. So let's talk about it. All right, let's talk about it. If your mother-in-law, the issue with some of this advice is that if you see small shege, or what seems like shege from if you see small pushback, or what seems like a small smooth push or a pushback from your in-laws, which will happen, because remember, any collaborative effort between human beings will create friction. That's a default, right? So if you see small, like, and you listen to this message, you find a way to relate. You feel me? Hold on one second. Okay, hold on. Just pardon me. All right, sorry about that. I had to do something with the network really quickly, but I'm back. Hold on, let me get the camera back on. All right. So as I was saying, if you see a little small shege with your in-laws, that's, first of all, that's inevitable. It's going to happen. Anytime you have collaborative efforts between two human beings. Can you guys hear me clearly? Sorry about that. There will be friction. Okay, so if you hear this kind of message, then you obviously say, I knew it, right? And they were like, I know. I wish I made sure that he didn't have a mother before you came into the marriage. This is a terrible advice. And as much as you might be like, yeah, but I'll never listen to that, it doesn't make sense. The truth is that a lot of these things will sow little seeds in your mind. Little seeds that you won't be able to trace back to where it started. Okay? So we have to be careful. We have to be guided when we're listening to this kind of stuff. But let's talk about it, because I'm going to dissect everything she said, and because I think, some of them, there's some good points there. Majority of it, not majority, maybe 20 to 30% is laced with bullshit that we need to make sure we address before you move forward when you hear stuff like this, okay? But again, this person, Official Bobby, says, if your mother-in-law no like you, definitely other of her kids aside of your husband won't like you, and marrying into that kind of family is an extreme sport. Again, you're going to marry into a family with human beings, so they might rub you off the wrong way sometimes. There are extreme, okay, where this person may be right, which is why you will see his comment has 90 likes. It's because somebody can relate. Right? So there are extremes like that, but there's also the extreme end where, you know what? No, my in-laws, they never show me anything, In fact, it's the perfect family. There's also that other extreme. But majority of people are going to fall somewhere in between. So sometimes you see shege, like, they said it. But maybe it's not even that deep. Maybe it's not that serious. But again, you will relate if you see small shege or pushback or bad experiences from your in-laws, you will relate with this kind of message, and you will attract what you fear the most. Okay, it will eventually be your reality, because they will also push back if you start to act mad, and your husband too will be confused. you know, he feels like most men because he's stuck in between, right? All right, so now there are a few men that are wise enough to know how to handle that. They do exist as well, and that's one of our goals with some of these books that we're putting out, so that we can have more and more men or women that have enough skills to handle this kind of stuff. Okay, let me see. Dilo said, "Oh, I love me, my Lord." Thank you, Dilo. I appreciate you. Of course, I appreciate you.
Oh, I love me, my Lord.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you, D-Love. Thank you so much. All right. So, there's another person here that said, forget the messenger, but this one, na fact, you see. So, fact. It said, forget the messenger. That's the person who is saying, no, I don't really listen to her like that. But she laces. It's like somebody lacing your... Shout out to Nato. She said, who is mixing this woman's weed? It's like somebody lacing your weed. If they listen with small something that's very, very poisonous, it can take you out for life. You might never come back to a normal human being anymore. Like your brain can disappear, literally. You could just be vegetable. Did you know that? Oh, okay. It's weed. It's just small lace. So just keep that at the back of your mind. There's nobody that their message is 100%. No one, including myself, right? But there's some very, very dangerous 5% drug that's been laced, like your mix has been laced with like 1% that can take you out, right? That's all it takes, or even less. So let's be guided. This person says, men will not like this advice. Most men want their wives to worship their mothers, but they don't even care about their wife's parent. That is a false statement, ladies. Most men simply want their wife and their mother to get along. They might not have the skills to make it happen when conflict presents itself. But most men are not walking around asking women to worship their mother. It can come off that way if there's issues, and then it's like, like, then you might start to feel like, wait, so I should worship her? Well, he didn't say that. You just said that. You said that. He did not say that. Really, simply, what he wants is for his mother, the two women in his life, to get along. Maybe it's not skillful. He doesn't have the skills to get that done. But that the intentions, if you read, I always say intentions fall in the poto all the time, right? But if you on the receiving end continue to read the wrong intentions, obviously you will react in the wrong way, because you are reacting to false reading of intentions, right? So again, let's be guided. Somebody says, return it in a calm, polite way when nobody else will understand but she alone. She go explain tire, but no evidence. Hey, voila. Somebody say, as for me, if she doesn't like me, I won't return the favor. Listen, if you find yourself returning the favor, it's just who you are, just so you know, okay? See, your reactions are yours. Your reactions are precisely actions. Hey, Esther, good to see you, Esther. Okay. Your reactions are all yours. You can't just be like, oh, you made me do it. No, you can try, but it doesn't work, okay? Your actions are actions you're responsible for, and they also come with consequences. Even though, yes, you're right, your actions may have been consequences of other people's behavior, but life is full of actions and reactions and consequences. So the only thing you can do is, when it gets to your side, when it gets to your time, to push out some form of action, right? When it gets to your own time, at that point you have autonomy, you have agency to decide the direction of the dance, right? It might come off as not, but that's not fair. Why should I take the higher road? Well, this is a dance, you're inside, right? So you have an opportunity to change the direction, right? In short term, it's going to feel not fair. In the long term, it's highly rewarding if you keep this at the back of your mind. All right. So this person said, I won't return the favor. I will remain the cultured, trained child that I am. So it is cap when people say things like, oh yeah, they made me do it. They were moving mad, so I decided to move mad.
Stop the cap.
No, you just wanted to move mad. Well, it was in you to move mad. You are actually right that somebody else can influence you to move mad. You're right.
Oh, you're right.
But it kind of has to be in you already. You have to be that person too, because like this person is saying, there's nothing you're gonna make me become who I am not. Right? The reality is that people can influence you to become who you are not, but to an extent, it has to be in you. It has to be who you are, right? Focus on the market and not the noise on the market. Okay, when you go to the market, you focus on the market, not the noise in the market. She can't make me lose my home training, especially if the husband not correct hobby. And a lot of times you will end up in a situation with the correct hobby who simply doesn't have the skills, right? And oftentimes you can blame it on him too. Some mothers are just mad like that, right? You know, but if you have it in you to exchange energy for basketballs, you will exchange it because it's in you, right? Okay, especially if the husband are correct. Now she go tire because I won't even act like I see her a threat. Okay, let me come to the comment really quickly. I think there's a couple of comments here. Life with Natu says, given the same energy does not pay my people. I no get time. Yeah, it's like, why do you have time for that too? Key Pearls. Hello, Key Pearls. Now I can remember that you're the one, because there was one day I was scrambling. I was like, who's the person from East Africa? But it was you I was trying to remember. I kept calling it Yvette, or I think there's another person that's also Kati that comes around. But I think I'll remember now. Key Pearls, okay? I just saw another podcast where potential mother-in-law was trying to dictate everything about the wedding, including colors and gown. The girl has postponed it because the guy is not setting boundaries. See, you can postpone. You can make certain decisions that doesn't have to be permanent decisions. You can also back out of the situation. To what extent? To whatever extent you need to back out until people realize that, I kind of bring some value to this table as well. You know, you don't have to say those words. You just demonstrate it by, well, I'm not sure what's going on. Why is everybody talking about the colors to my wedding, right? But yeah, good one. I wonder what podcast that is. Keepers, my in-law tried doing it, and my husband put a very tall wall, and they gave in. Yeah, if the husband knows that it's his call, that's easier. If he doesn't, then it's much harder. But again, these are normal situations. When you see it as normal, then you calm down. You stay calm while you react accordingly. How you see these things can determine how you react. If you see it as this extreme, like Blessing CEO is painting here, then you will react in extreme ways. And then, the whole world might just turn around and look at you like, what's wrong with you too? And then you'll be like, well, everybody's against me. Well, are you sure? If everybody's saying that the way you reacted is off, maybe you should pay attention to that as well. But let me go back to, let me see here. Let's see.
If your mother-in-law no like you, stop trying to impress her.
In the first place, you really shouldn't be impressing your mother-in-law. You should be being yourself, okay? Yourself should impress other people, meaning they find value in being around you. They find value in the very existence of you. They appreciate that, right? That's, wow, my son, like ideally it should be. Oftentimes it takes time for people to see the value in you too, right? So the word impress is already problematic to me. You really shouldn't be doing that in the first place anyway. It's either you have the value or you don't have value. You have to overstretch yourself to impress. It's already wrong. So she's kind of right and wrong, but the angle she's coming from there is that as a response to they're showing you shaggy. Let's continue.
Return the same energy.
Return the same energy is always a bad idea, because what looks like the same energy to you, it's not necessarily the same energy. This is just how you're processing whatever is going on. Sometimes you process whatever is going on, the events, and it seems like it's equal energy, but you're overshooting, like you're shooting over, right? Sometimes you're undershooting, right? So it's not, they can't, like they're not even paying attention to you that much, and you think you're matching energy. So Either way, you're wasting your energy trying to be who you're not. Okay, because we're talking about emotional energy right now. If you have to overreact, there's a good chance the other side is not reading it the way you're reading it. They're either under reading or over reading it. Ultimately you're wasting your energy, not being who you're supposed to be, a person of value. You should always be competing with yourself, trying to become a better person. That's not a kumbaya talk. It's the only way life becomes awesome for the greatest in the history of mankind. That's not a Bible talk either. Okay, because they're like, wow, this guy's always preaching about. No, this is not preaching. The reality is that you should only be competing with yourself. You want to be a better person than who you were yesterday. That only just makes sense. If you try to do anything else, competing with other people, getting in other people's lane in their way of doing things, you will fail ultimately, because you're two different human beings, right?
A lot of you are going to say, no, respect your husband's mother. Yes, so you will respect your husband's mother. But if she does not like you, you will return the same energy.
So if somebody does not like you and they're outrightly showing that they want to be disrespectful and all of that, if you keep tolerating that, they will keep doing it. That's just fact of life, right? I'm not sure where the relevance of respect comes in this, because by default you respect, she's your mother-in-law, right? But if she's moving a certain type of way, you're not going to be able to control if you respect her or not. You're going to lose respect for that person, right? Why? It's going to come off that way because you want to protect yourself, right? Like it's like somebody just attacking you for no reason, right? That will be your first reaction, right? Now you can be extra aware, self-aware, and say, hey, whatever is going on with that woman has nothing to do with me. That's all about her. I will just have her son worry about it, right? As long as there's no direct assault at you physically or anything like that, or if they're in your space, then you're gonna have to have a conversation with your husband, not her. There should be absolutely no reason why you feel the need to match energies with her, unless she's in your space. If she's in your space, the direction of your energy should still go in one place. Your best point of leverage is still your husband, not her. Because again, like she just said, it's going to come off as you're outrightly disrespectful, because especially if you're in a very traditional setting, they will look at you more than they will look at her, right? Unless she's really, really mad, like everywhere. Usually it's very subtle thing. Like other people might not even see that she's being disrespectful to you like that. It's only you that can see it. She's like gaslighting you in different types of way. And when you try to say what's going on, other people may not even understand you, right? Or what you're saying. And then, well, make sure you respect. Even your own mother will tell you, make sure you respect your mother-in-law if you're not too careful on how you handle this, okay? The guy is just ignoring the bride's complaint, and it's an intercultural marriage. Apparently, groom is Yoruba, and his mom said the girl's culture is boring. She's from Sierra Leone. Jesus Christ. All right. Let's get back to this. Hold on.
Let me tell you something. When a mother-in-law does not like you, there's nothing you want to do in this life that will make her to like you.
When a person does not like you, right, there's a lot of things that can make them like you eventually, okay? It's not always you directly doing something though, okay? So she's kind of right about that. But, again, you shouldn't be trying to impress people. But time, patience, people getting to know you, people realizing that people having to just match your energy indirectly in terms of the way you carry yourself, they don't really have a choice than to respect you, right? So people ultimately, over time, they don't have a choice. They have to respect how you respect yourself. If you carry yourself with respect, you don't really have a choice. But if you're reading that in short term, you might be like, oh, they're disrespectful, right? Sometimes you just have to give it time. Some people need to get to know you. They need to be familiar with you before they can really give in like that, right? But there's a lot that you can indirectly do. For example, silence. For example, maintain your own lane. For example, don't overreact. Don't overreact is a doing. That's an action thing, right? That's actually you not overreacting when you're focused on the problem. It's an oxymoron. But not overreacting means you have to refocus your energy. Don't worry about, like, if somebody's just trying to gaslight you, if they're not directly having to deal with you in a marriage, you might have to ignore a lot of things. That is something you do. That is part of a lot of things you can do to get them to come around if it's necessary. Okay, come around in terms of getting to know you before they like you, if it's necessary. If you give it all your energy, it will expand. If you focus on it, it will expand. This is law of attraction. That's just the way it works, right? So let's keep going.
Nothing under the sun, if you like, cook.
So that's false.
Clean.
Well, not cooking, cleaning again. You shouldn't be trying to impress. If that's not who you are, that's not gonna work because they can tell that you're faking it, right?
Buy her clothes, buy her shoes. She will collect it from you and still hate you on top of it. Let's get.
All right, so that word is heavy. Hate. Just imagine if that's the way it actually plays out in real life for everyone on an average. No one will be married, But of course, the toxic situation is usually the loudest, right? So if you're not careful, you will start looking for people to hate you to confirm what Blessing CEO has been telling you for a long time. Okay, just want you to know. So, but if that's the case, if that's actually your situation, again, I don't subscribe to trying to impress people that don't already like you, right? There's something that you did successfully to end up in that marriage. I would keep focusing on whatever that is, because this can be an opportunity to distract you from what matters, right?
Into the topic. Normally, I for advise you say, make you not even marry man when my man don't like you. That's a first red flag. But because a lot of you,
well, that I didn't realize that's what she said. If just her mother straight up doesn't like you, I might want to I don't like using the word red flag, even though we have a book coming out called The Number One Red Flag. I'd rather you focus on other things, to be honest. But if it's just that right in your face, I will be careful. I will back off. I will make sure that you know what you're doing before you go into that situation. So she's right about that.
Women, when I get coconut head, not a year word. Not a year word. If your mother-in-law no like, we don't say love. You don't rush, you don't carry belly. I love you. I cannot do without you. Now be the situation where we do now. You love him. I cannot stop you from loving someone or from marrying somebody that you love. Since we don't tell you, say, once the mother-in-law don't shoot you, they don't like you. Wrong. Some of you don't go rush carry belly. Some of you don't enter because of love. So when you enter, and you don't say your mother-in-law don't like you, not going to try to please her. Nothing.
So again, don't be appeasing people and appeasing all that kind of stuff. But anyway, usually it's not a situation that you find out like when you can still back out. There are events that happen in people's lives, sometimes after 2-3 kids, before they start to feel like this woman doesn't like me. And then at that point, they reflect back to certain events. They will be like, I knew it, she never liked me. That's usually how it plays out, okay? Now, you can call it, they ignored it, they ignored the flags, you can call it whatever you want to call it. I'm telling you how it usually plays out. Maybe they're not ignoring, maybe they just couldn't see what they can't see. So the best thing you can prepare for is crisis, conflict. When it happens, how do you handle it? You don't prepare to avoid conflict. That's an oxymoron. It doesn't exist. You will see conflict. You will see crisis. Sometimes it will come in the form of a mother-in-law, right? How do you react to that? Well, first of all, self-awareness. You need to be aware that everything that's negative in nature is probably magnified more than it actually is. Right? Why? Because it's a shock to your system, right? So if you calm down, then maybe you can see it for what it is, right? What is it? It's a crisis. It's conflict, right? How do you handle that? You need to understand where that person is coming from. Why is it that it feels all of a sudden that this person doesn't like me? Now, again, naturally, you will relate back to all the negative events, starting from when you first met him. Like, yeah, I knew she rolled her eyes that day. I knew it. But I couldn't put my fingers on it. Well, when you start reflecting back to just negative and you forget all the positives in the past, again, what you focus on expands, it becomes your reality, right? Because that's what will occupy your brain, and now your reaction will follow accordingly. You'll be trying to keep the same energy, right? And you self, you will collect in that process, because there's no like omotoni yaon isuni, right? Right? So that's why you see that everybody start collecting from left side, and then it's all messy, and some people are trying to figure out what happened, and then you're like, well, they can't see what happened. Well, they all just don't like you. Remember, somebody just said the siblings probably don't like you too. Now, I knew it. All the siblings don't like me either. And then the person that you are pouring all of this on is your husband, and he's just confused, like, because he doesn't want to offend you, he doesn't want to offend the people he's known all of his life. Don't forget, the people he's known all of his life, right? So it's easier said than done. It's not as simple as what she's oversimplifying and generalizing. She's using the word hate heavily, because the people that can relate. She knows exactly what she's doing, right? Okay, if I want to grow this platform 10 times faster, all I have to do is do things like that. I'll just say fiery, inflammatory things that I know you can relate with from your pain, and then you will share it. Did you hear this guy? I knew it. This was like, right. But no, we're not going to do that. We're going to take our time to do it the proper way, right?
You could do to please your mother-in-law. If your mother-in-law won't even like you, not waiting you do now, waiting your husband they tell her. If there's anybody that is going to change your mother-in-law's mind to start to, give you plastic smile because they can never like you, the highest thing they can be.
They can like you, but she's right that if anybody can change, is the way your husband sells you. It's what is sold to them that they kind of at least eventually follow suit. Okay, so she's right about that. But the idea that they will never like you, no, that's not true. Doesn't make any sense. Think about it now. Okay. I know it's not common sense. It's not true, okay? It's not true. That may be your reality, so you're having a hard time believing me that it doesn't have to be true, right? But it's not true. It's not sustainable that you will be with a person that their mother hates you for a long time. It's just not so. That will keep haunting you, right? Now, you might be in that situation right now or be feeling that way right now. So naturally, it feels like, well, but you've been married how many times? So how many of those mother-in-laws have you had to be able to make such a conclusion, right? So you just have to be careful what we're listening to out there.
You need to be pretending to like you. So even if your mother-in-law won't come, they pretend to like you. Now your husband, now he take carry you, and now he take sell you to him mama. Now he go even make her they give you that. My daughter-in-law is everything. That's the only thing she can give, but she doesn't like you.
She doesn't like you. So she said, but she doesn't like you, but she gave an evil laugh. So who are you gonna believe? Her or your own, right? What was the point of the evil laugh? Right? Like they deceive yourself, right? Is that what that was? Oh, she's just telling the truth. No. It's case by case by case. Assess your own situation, okay? Your feelings are valid. If you feel like your mother-in-law doesn't like you, your feelings are valid, but they're feelings, okay?
Especially in Africa here. I don't know what mother-in-laws and daughter-in-laws are always dragging. Some people come and say, oh, I got into this marriage and my mother-in-law liked me.
So now she's going to throw some sun into those people's yuri. Like, you think your mother-in-law like you, right? Nyemu. Yeah, nyemu. You think you're the only one person that the mother-in-law likes, Abby. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm just letting you know, be careful what you focus on, Be careful. Because you will find more of what you are looking for always, okay?
You dey use your function to play.
Lucky you. They know they like you.
She said, lucky you.
They don't like you.
You're just that one lucky person, right?
Now how your husband take carry you? Now so your mother-in-law.
It's one of the problems that we have. We don't celebrate the things that are good. We don't make more highlights. of things we can actually be grateful of. Not forget public, or even in your own personal life, you struggle with gratitude. You struggle with reaching out to the people in your life once in a while just to say hello, I'm checking in. You struggle with that. It's not your fault, it's the rest of us who do that, right? Because life, ups and down, hilo, right, occupies our mind. So, but when there's negative stuff going on, like a monster in-law, we tell everybody about it, right? So again, I want to be reminding you this thing so you can, again, move with God. If you find yourself in a situation that you feel authentically like this is your situation, then don't assume that it's happening every time or it has to be your reality. Just ask for help, okay? And there are a lot of things you can do about that. Don't listen to people that tell you there's nothing you can do, just match energy. Don't listen to that.
They carry you because your mother-in-law don't know you. He know you through your husband. They see you through your husband's eyes because now waiting your husband can't tell them. Now they go think about you. You understand? So if your mother-in-law like you, now they say your husband don't tell them good thing in front of you. The day when your husband go tell them bad thing, they go change that for you. So it's not supposed to be a stress because the biggest stress is when you're giving love and the person is not reciprocating it back. It can get you depressed. My mother-in-law does not like me. I've done everything. Don't do anything. Serve at the same energy. Keep your distance. If you see and especially
I don't know.
in Africa here, I don't just the greeter. You understand? Respect her or keep your distance.
Well, so now you say just the greeter, right? And somebody would just listen to the last 2 minutes of what you said. It's like, no, I want to. They will take it further. That worry that you help them get to this small worry, they will take that worry to the next level. It's like, no, because they can relate with the painful part of what you're saying. So naturally, they're like, no. I'm not even going to greet her. Because when I greet herself, she knows even the answer. Right? So, yeah, people always do that. They give the worst of advice, and then they tell you, like, just, no, that's not just. You already gave them the worry. They're going to multiply the worry. That's how it works. Right? So that's why I'd rather push against the other end and say, hey, relax. Yes, I don't think you should be overcompensating, over shalaye, over appeasing, over impressing the person. I think it's either they find you impressive or they don't. However, how your reactions is what we need to monitor, because these are shocking things to your system. If you overreact, you too self go collect. No, but that's not fair. They started it. Yeah, welcome to the real world. Life is not fair. Key says some of this attitude towards brides is cultural. There is a tribe I heard where they will hold a proper yabbing and roasting session for the bride before the wedding to see how strong she is. Okay, so in that kind of case, I would hope that she's kind of aware that's going to happen. All right, because that crosses out. It's like two get two. It's like that crosses each other out. Okay, it's like Trump, when he was, I think there was a dinner that they did either when he was a president. They do it for every one of them, right? Where they're going to be roasted. They know this is what it's going to be, right? He doesn't get to turn around and come to me and say, well, I was roasted. No, if you know this is like most of the things that we call cultural, we just need to be aware of it and learn how to navigate it, right? And if you don't like that culture of a thing, then don't go marry into it. But once you call it cultural, or it's a religion, or it's something that is across the board, right? Typically the situation, what they practice, then that should cross out any type of situation where you can say, well, this is just a terrible situation for me. Well, it's not for you, it's for everyone else, and that, you have a choice to go into that situation or not, because it's not just this one thing, right? It could be many things. Like, for example, there's the issue of Atari. When I was getting married, I think it's in the book, my wife wrote it in the book, of alligator pepper. My parents didn't want the alligator pepper, but it was a pushback at my in-laws, and it created issues that haunted us for years, in bad ways, right? So, but it's their religion. That's why in developed society they have what they call freedom of religion, or they have respect or something like that, where if you say this thing is religious, then you can take off, even from work. Like, sure, as long as it's not a everyday thing, right? Oh, today we're celebrating in my religion, they give you the day off. They might even give you time payoff for it, right? So these are some of the intelligence that we need to bring into relationships. If you go into somebody's culture, you go marry them, and they have a practice that they do there. If they don't let you know and they just kind of bombard you with it, you're right. That will become some form of abuse, right? But if it's a situation that you're aware of, or they call it cultural, it makes sense. It makes reasonable sense, okay? Not just sense. Because it might make sense to them and not to you, right? If you make reasonable sense that, okay, you leave it alone, right? So that's some of the intelligence that we're trying to bring into this topic around relationships that you typically won't find anywhere. What you will find is like, well, culture is bad. Like, well, not that simple. Our whole life is surrounded by culture everywhere you go in life. So it's not that simple to just say culture is bad. That's, again, oversimplifying things. So remove culture for everybody and everybody will be happy. No, there will be something else that we're doing that will become the problem then. We need to have a higher intelligence than just oversimplified talking points. Okay? Olaido, good to see you, man. I haven't seen you in a long time. Good to see you. Thank you for being here today. All right, so let me see. Did I finish this? Oh, wow.
The same energy. No go there, go to wash through the water. If you reach your mother-in-law house, cross leg. My house. If I go to my mama's house, my mama, they cook for me. If mama come to my house, I cook. My mom treats me like a queen when I go to her house. I don't enter kitchen, my mama do. She goes, don't worry, mama go.
So she says when she goes to her mother's house, her mother that feeds her and all that kind of stuff. Again, it's not, that comparison is wrong. The comparison is off, okay? For many reasons. That's your mother, okay? This is now your mother-in-law. So even when people say something like, hey, don't call her your mother-in-law, call her your mother-in-law. Well, you should put an accent on it. That means it's not the same as your mother, right? Now, keep in mind, when I say your mother, I'm talking about the person that raised you, that loves you, the person you have that connection with, not necessarily biological mother. Because there's many people with biological mothers that they don't have any relationships with. Just in case you didn't know. Just in case you've been privileged and you didn't know that. Okay? So if it's your mother, right, and this is a new mother, in-love or in-law, whatever you want to call it, right, you have to leave room for the fact that you're getting to know this person, and that comparison will be off, right? Now, some ladies will be like, well, in Yoruba land, you know, we kunle, we build one laruge, what's the English? We edify them. We edify them. It's more ceremonial than you are impressing the person. Again, your mindset, refocus. How do I say this? All right, so how you see things affects everything else. Your outlook on life affects everything else, okay? So if you see, hey, I'm kneeling down, I'm edifying your mother-in-law, if you see it as edifying that person, then they need to be all wrong, okay? You will start to feel some type of way at some point. You're correct. And you have the right to feel that, by the way. I'm just letting you know there's some level of ignorance in that. It's more ceremonial, and if you're doing it for anyone at all, you're doing it for the husband that you love. Okay, he makes him feel some type of way. It's a positive thing, right? If you are able to get to know him at that level, it's not an everyday thing. This person is not going to be in your everyday life, right? You're not expected to kneel down every day, even if they live with you, right? But for the ceremonial aspect of things, you're meeting them for the first time, you kneel down because that's the culture, right? And there are other things in your own culture, if it's able to also reciprocate and say, well, in my culture, we bring big money, we bring malu, we bring siman chinap, right? Some of you don't know what siman chinap is. Gen Z don't know what siman chinap is, right? It's ceremonial, it's edification, you're edifying. Forget your husband, you're edifying yourself. If you don't see it that way, it's very simple solution. Don't go into that marriage. Oh, by the way, when you shift focus from this culture, Yoruba, and you go to another culture, let's say you go and marry somebody from Bali or somebody from Vietnam, right? They have culture. You edify them by engaging it, by being interested, by, and if it's one of them that you like for example, me, I don't like tasting food that is not eba and amala and inyo and stuff that I know, okay? So if I go marry into a different culture, there's a special way. There's a way that I need to kind of excuse myself so I don't start throwing up in front of everybody for tasting food that I don't know, right? That I'm not familiar with, right? But you need to acknowledge first of all that if you could do that, that would have been a big deal, right? People love it when you just show that you're interested in something that means something to them. Granted, it doesn't necessarily mean anything to you, right? Again, a lot of this stuff we throw around oversimplified solutions like, oh, you just turn off culture. Like, no, there's no such thing. Okay, you can turn off this one culture, you go to another place, you find the same problem because it's something about you that has no tolerance for what means something to other people. So you're gonna have the same problem everywhere. It just looks different. It's like a shadow. It's following you everywhere you go. There's always a light beaming on you in the form of you're a social being, you're an emotional being. We do life together, right? So how you make people feel around you is a big deal. And one of the hack is just be interested. Just, you don't even have to taste the food. Like, wow, what is this called? Oh, this one. And then you cram the names, right? You don't have to taste it. They just feel like you're into what means something to them. It could be food, it could be any other aspect of the culture, right? So this idea where people are really, really trying to shoot down culture is an oxymoron. It doesn't exist. Human beings is to culture. There's no such thing like human beings without culture. I don't care if they're white, green, blue, black. Okay, so stop being disrespectful. Stop looking at other group of people and telling them they don't have culture. Just because they don't have your culture doesn't mean they don't have culture. That's also disrespectful. That's social skills. And they won't check you right now, okay? But there are other ways that life will check you later on if you don't know these kind of things.
To serve me. So if I come to your house as mother-in-law, now your work. If you want make I help you, you can come and say, Nkiru, you can come and help me in the kitchen, I will come. But if you don't call me...
Now, a wise woman might even do that. They might understand that this Gen Z people, Nkiru can come and help me. But if that's your best case scenario, if it's your worst case scenario, uncle, they will just say, that one has no home training. And you might pretend like, well, I don't care, they can have their opinion about me. No, we all care. Stop it. Stop the cap. We all care. You might not care in this one thing, but eventually it's going to catch up on you. Does that mean you should be going there to be a slave? No. You just need to be aware. That's all. For most of these things I'm talking about, just be aware so that you don't overreact and shoot yourself in the legs. That's all I'm saying, right? You might not be a cook, you might not just... But what about social skills? Just go hang out with her and just... Why? Because they value it. You don't value, but you value the connection you're going to build with these people, right? So sometimes you have to trade something for the other. That's just life principles. It's nothing to do with one culture is toxic or the other. Are there elements of culture that's toxic? Yes. But when we get there, I'll tell you, I promise, okay? When we get to those parts, I'll let you know, I promise, okay? But this right here, it's not necessarily one of them. What you're going to do, if you listen to what this woman is saying right now, you internalize it, you're going to multiply it, and then you're going to basically come off as toxic. And, at best, you're going to leave your husband confused because it's going to be like, hey, I didn't see this part. I didn't see this part of her before, right? And you're like, well, it's 2023. Everybody should get with the game. Like, okay, I just hope you know what you're doing, that's all.
I know go come. Make you no come talk, say na me make the soup no sweet. Na me make sand enter inside rice. I no get power. I go just sit down, the press phone. I could know how to press phone.
You sit down, the press phone.
Honey, baby, should we go to the market square? Baby, come along, teach me how to catch rabbits. Baby, come. That's what they do. I know say mother-in-laws. That kind of thing. They need to tell mother-in-law the way they do love in front of their pikin, in front of them. Hello. Greet and good morning, ma.
Listen.
For formality, you should not answer you.
Listen, at your own, what do you call it, right? You listen to that at your own, whatever they call it. I forgot the word I'm trying to use right now. You want to listen to that, follow it, please. If it's working for you, please keep doing it. Okay? If anything, everything I say here is easier said than done anyway. And if what you're doing is working for you, keep doing it. If it's not working, then maybe it's time to reassess things, okay? I'm just saying. Anyway, I'll be right back.